Man, I am not a fan of bugs, and especially these bugs, but I guess the pinnacle of the chapter was Tommy and Toriko finally meeting face to face. Toriko, Gourmet number 76, Ferocious, Fluttering.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and action-packed ice-filled tale of Toriko. Our last chapter saw us with, of course, Match and Takamaru, Komatsu, and Toriko, and then, of course, Match's couple of henchmen that are with him from his mafia guys, all being kind of set upon by and attacked by some of Tommy Rod's bugs, and we saw one of the guys just straight up get his arm slashed, sliced off, what have you, and it's just not looking good at all. So that's where things left off, and of course, we don't know how far Tommy and Bogey Woods and what's his face there, Barry Gammon. Alright, excuse me, forgot the name sometimes, you gotta forgive me over here, I can't remember everything. But that is where everything left off, and this is right where it picks up, and for the most part, this chapter just centers on trying to take down these bugs. We see one of these Jungle Stag Beetles is clocks in at a level 38, the capture level, and although that may not be much, for the 200s chapters of Toriko, or maybe even the 100s chapters right now, that's pretty damn high up. And these things are hardcore. Toriko goes and he's like, all right, they're pretty fast. I'm going to have to use a lighter, faster attack. So all of a sudden he's like, flying, like he does some kind of multiple flying fork. He's like, and like all these just forks come flying out. Bug just dodges it, pulls an okie doke, and then he's like, knife! And he misses it. This thing flies around and goes right into his abdomen, right? And he's just like, oh, the frickin' thing's trying to burrow into me. This beetle is trying to burrow into him and eat him from the inside out, right? And then, I don't know, is Toriko supposed to be, from, England or something like that? Because he's just like, you cheeky little bugger! And I'm like, okay, I got some friends from across the pond, and those are the only people I know that say cheeky, but anyway, regardless, he winds up getting this thing out of him and then goes and hits it with a sevenfold spiked Kugi punch, or sevenfold Kugi punch, whatever you want to call it, the spiked punch. I don't know. It says Spike Punch in my thing. I know a lot of people read that in the, it says on the scanlations, Kugi Punch. Kugi sounds cool. Spike sounds fine. Whatever. Point is it's between the 5 and the 10 that he's been doing. It's the 7. It's kind of the medium, it's like the medium high, punch. But he winds up jacking one of these things up. And then another one of these bugs winds up going after one of Takamaru's, one of Match's henchmen, the one that's already got the wound, and the thing goes and tries to fly up inside its wound, and this guy's like, he's got this ice gun, and he's like, trying to shoot the thing, and these shells are impervious to harm. Their exoskeletons are super, super hard. They can just stop a bullet, whatever. Anyway, Match winds up coming over with his sword, and he's like, you gotta hit it in the joints of the limbs, and he's like, and he goes and takes apart a couple of them. Winds up going and it looks like Toriko goes and slashes one apart, and this fucker goes and its pieces go flying off and kind of try to, it looks like they try to come back together, but nonetheless we learn at the beginning of the chapter something that, and this is what I like about Toriko so much, is that it kind of, it's rooted in so many things that are so many things that are realistic, and so many things that are true in our own world today. And bugs, insects, they're explaining at the beginning about how they're basically the dominant, they're pretty much the dominant species on Earth. There's more species of them than anything else combined. Mammals and everything else. And then just the fact that there's obviously so many of them, so many different types of species, that they've been around for hundreds of millions of years. Nonetheless, though, Toriko goes and he's like, insects don't have brains, they have nerve bundles, so basically what happens is when a limb gets cut off, it still can move and twitch and everything else. That part, I have to brush up on my science, because I'm not sure how much of that's actually rooted in reality. I thought they still did have some kind of brains, but whatever. Nonetheless, man, all hell is breaking loose. The shit's hitting the fan. Then all of a sudden, these bugs up and just kind of go and fly away. And you're like, what the hell? Okay, it's kind of the calm before the storm, right? Then it goes and it takes us over to just a quick 2-pager, right, where we wind up seeing Jiro's, I guess his son, his minion, whatever. I don't know if people work for him. He keeps referring to him as the master, as his master. So I'm assuming that it's a pompadour is just like a thing. That's like entrance into the club. It's like you got to have a pompadour. And anyway, So this character, and I think some people wound up saying what his name was in their Tepe or Tekai or something like that. Nonetheless, though, they haven't told us yet in here, but there's something going on with him. He's obviously trying to work toward, you can't see the Aurora yet. He's talking about the Gourmet case, should have been melted down enough by now, this and that. If it's not, what Master Jiro feared, maybe the truth, it's going to be a big pain in the butt. The guy's just talking out loud to himself, but whatever he winds up coming upon and then kind of looking at, he just looks down and he's like, oh man, it's a cliffhanger. They leave you, and then boom, it goes back to Toriko and company, right? And so now they've just gotten done dealing with this bug infestation that comes at them. Well, then all of a sudden, coming out of nowhere, we're coming out of the distance, the bugs come flying in, right? Except for now, they're holding everybody, right? Well, Tommy Rod's flying, it looks like. But it looks like they're holding Barry and Bogey, and they come in, and it's just, man, the page is cool, right? The page is just drawn real nice, man. You're looking at it, and you're just like, oh, shit. It's about to go down. And Toriko even says that, man. He's like, you finally show your faces, Gourmet Corp. But he tells everybody, like, listen, man, we gotta get ready. This is do or die. There is no, he's telling everybody in the next one, this is life or death right here. So the chapter winds up ending, though, with Tommy goes and comes up to him. And Tommy, again, just kind of looks like this. Tommy looks kind of like a drag queen, is what he looks like, just the way he's set up and everything. Has very feminine-like features and whatnot. But certainly the bug thing is scary as shit. And just unsettling. But Tommy goes and comes up and is like, oh, finally, nice to meet you, Toriko. And as he goes up, you see the one arm go around him to hug him, but the other arm is hidden. And the way it's hidden here, and then they show some droplets of blood and this look on his face, about how goodbye. He said, well, Tommy says goodbye, nice to finally meet you, and he says goodbye. And then, of course, you get this blood on the ground. I'm thinking that he just went and just tried to shank him right through with one of his claws or stabbed him in some way, shape, or form. Because Toriko, though, doesn't change his expression very much. But you got to remember that Toriko is kind of like the big swinging dick of the club over here. There's not a whole lot that bothers him. It's like, oh, hole in my body, I'm cool. Him and Mansom, man, they're just, Mansom just drinks some vodka, pours it over the hole in his throat. He's fine. Toriko, is getting, parts of him ripped off, a piece of his shoulder came off in the BB corner. Like, fuck it, I'll grow it back. With his gourmet cells, obviously he's next level regenerative human type of thing. He can take like Wolverine-like damage, And I refer to that because of the fact that throughout the comic books, video games, even the movies, Wolverine is somebody that can certainly take a lot of damage like that and actually lose a portion or a piece of a body or get a straight up hole put through him, and it heals up very quickly. So that's what I compare Toriko to. So he's my blue-haired Wolverine. Anyway, that's where the chapter leaves off, and man, what an explosive one. I can't wait to dive into the next one. My chapter question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is ultimately, what are your thoughts on some of Tommy's bugs, man? I mean, this burrowing jungle stag beetle trying to burrow into people and stuff like that. Oh my god, just so gross. And then, of course, I've asked, too, but, welcome to answer as well, what your thoughts are on Tommy, obviously, now that, kind of, he is front and center, and like I said, it's about to go down. Toriko went and told everybody else, like, listen, it's life or death now, so, get your shit together, get what you gotta get done, because we gotta take these dudes down now. And you got, Komatsu don't really count as like a fighter, but you got Takamaru, you got Match, you got Toriko, and they're going to have to obviously square off against Tommy Rod, Bogey Woods, and Barry Gammon. So, that's the other thing, too. That's another question as well. Which fights are you looking forward to most going down? We know that Toriko and Tommy Rod are probably going to go at it. I don't know how the other ones are going to match up, but let me know what your thoughts are, too, on that and what you think the best matchups or the coolest matchups will be for these fights. Sorry. Leave your answer to those questions in the comments down below. Sometimes I have just a temporary seizure, it seems like. No. Anyway, feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. Damn it, that's when we'll look forward to catching you in the next one, nation. Damn it, I told you about that. Yeah, I know.
Remember to follow me on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and hell, even my other channel.